So I've come to talk to you today about culture. And I want to start by making a bold statement, which is that if you know how to shape a culture, then you can cause the people who live in that culture to change their behavior. So for example, if you could build a culture of curiosity in your classroom, or in your school, or in your institution, then the people who lived in that classroom would actually start raising their hands more and asking more questions and being more engaged. Or if you could build a culture of respect in our families, then we would find that people in the family, our family members, would actually contribute more and give more to each other and chip in a bit more. Or in a team, if you can build a culture of collaboration, then people will start to share more. And if you can build a culture of accountability in your organization, then people will start to keep their word more. Because in fact, all of those groups, any group of which all of us are a member, already has a culture. It has a culture that was probably formed unconsciously, but the culture exists and it affects how we all operate in that culture. But the amazing thing about culture is that it's actually like a tide, a rising tide, that in fact it does lift everybody in it. And that's what's been so amazing for me in the work that I do on culture, is that when I see leaders who are able to build a certain type of culture, you see people in it start to lift to those standards. Almost everyone, not everybody. But the people who don't, interestingly, start to become much more marginalized. And some of them, in fact, if they have a choice, will end up by going. So the power of culture is it actually has that ability to cause a change in the behavior of other people. But it requires us as a leader to take responsibility and to take ownership of that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to give you some tips on how you can build a culture, whether it's in a classroom, whether it's in a school, whether it's in a broader institution, whatever group you're a member of, whatever group you feel that you can have an influence over, how can you actually build the culture that you want in that organization?